The transaction declined at 11:47 p.m. I watched it happen in real time on my laptop screen, sitting in our dark living room while Daniel slept upstairs in what used to be our bed. Four Seasons Miami. Presidential Suite. 7 nights. $24,500. Not for us. We hadn't taken a vacation in 3 years. I clicked refresh on the banking app, the one Daniel didn't know I had access to. The one linked to the accounts he thought were his alone. Another charge appeared. Cartier. $12,000. I'd been wearing my grandmother's ring for our entire marriage. Said I preferred sentimental to expensive. The truth? I was protecting us. Saving. Building something Daniel couldn't see while he spent money that wasn't actually his to spend. One more click. One button. That's all it would take. My finger hovered over the mouse. Then my phone buzzed. A text from Daniel's mother, Evelyn. Are you awake? We need to talk about Daniel. Tomorrow. Please. I closed the laptop. Stood. Walked to the window. Let me take you back to where this really started. Not tonight. 6 months ago. The day I found out who my husband had become. 6 months earlier, the envelope arrived at my office at 2:15 p.m. No return address. Inside, photos printed on expensive cardstock. Daniel and a woman I didn't recognize. Outside restaurants I'd never been to. Her hand on his chest. His lips on her neck. The last photo showed them entering the Ritz-Carlton. Timestamp. 3 days ago. The same day he'd texted me that he was working late. Again. My assistant, Maya, knocked softly. Emma? You okay? I slid the photos into my desk drawer. Fine. Just, can you give me the contact information for my father's attorney? James Morrison. She hesitated. Your father's estate attorney? Yes. I'd avoided that call for 5 years. 5 years of being Emma Chen Parker, the art conservator who married the ambitious investment banker. 5 years of watching Daniel climb while I stayed deliberately small. My father, Chen Wei, founder of Pacific Alliance Capital, had died when I was 23. Left me everything. Trusts, portfolios, real estate holdings across 3 countries. $240 million. I told Daniel I had a modest inheritance. Enough to pay off my student loans. That's all. The rest sat in accounts he'd never seen, managed by trustees he'd never met, growing quietly while I worked my museum job and pretended I needed his income to survive. James Morrison answered on the first ring. Ms. Chen, it's been a long time. I need you to trace some transactions for me. My husband's credit cards. His banking activity for the last year. Silence. Then, should I prepare divorce documents as well? Not yet. First, I need to know exactly what I'm dealing with. The report arrived 3 days later. 47 pages. Hotels, $186,000 over 18 months. Jewelry, $67,000. Restaurants, $43,000. Cash withdrawals, $92,000. All from joint accounts that Daniel managed. Accounts funded by his salary, $340,000 a year at Sterling and Howe Financial, and supplemented by what he thought was my museum income. Except my museum salary was $68,000. The additional money flowing into our joint accounts, that came from my trust, filtered through enough layers that Daniel never questioned it. He thought he was the breadwinner, the provider. He'd been spending my money on another woman for over a year. I sat at my kitchen table, the farmhouse table I'd found at an estate sale, refinished myself while Daniel was at work dinners, and called James back. I need you to do something for me. Anything, Ms. Chen. Every account with my money in it. Every card. I want to be able to shut them down with one phone call. That's most of your household expenses. Your mortgage payments. You are everything. May I ask why? I looked at the report in front of me, at the line items that told the story of my husband's betrayal in cold financial detail. Because I'm done being generous. 2 weeks later, Daniel came home at 7 p.m. carrying shopping bags from Hermes. Got you. Something, he said, kissing my cheek like he hadn't been kissing someone else for months. Inside the bag, a scarf. Beautiful. Silk. Orange and gold. Daniel, this is too much. Nothing's too much for my wife. He loosened his tie. Brioni. $800. I bought it for his birthday. Besides, I got a promotion. Vice President. $150,000 raise. That's wonderful. I folded the scarf carefully. We should celebrate. Actually, I have a business trip next week. Miami. Client meetings. But when I get back, I'll take you somewhere nice. Miami. 7 nights. Presidential suite. The reservation I'd seen him make that morning. Sounds perfect, I said. That night, while Daniel slept, I opened my laptop. Logged into the master account James had created. One dashboard that controlled everything. Mortgage payments, utility accounts, credit cards, car payments, the brokerage account Daniel checked obsessively. Everything funded by my inheritance. My money. My father's legacy that I'd hidden away like a secret weapon. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. He's with me right now. Told me he's leaving you. Just thought you should know. Sienna, a photo attached. Daniel, and the woman from the envelope. Her hand showing off a diamond bracelet that cost more than most people's cars. I looked at my screen. At the button that would shut it all down. Not yet. I wanted him to feel it. Really feel it. I wanted him in Miami, in that hotel room, with that woman, when his world collapsed. So I waited. I smiled. And I planned his ruin with the precision of a surgeon. The Miami trip was scheduled for Thursday. On Monday, I had lunch with Evelyn, Daniel's mother, at her country club. She ordered sparkling water. I noticed her hands shaking as she opened her menu. Emma, I need to tell you something about Daniel. I know about Sienna. I kept my voice gentle. I've known for months. Her face crumpled. I raised him better than this. I don't know what happened to my son. When did you find out? He brought her to a firm event. Introduced her as a colleague. But the way they looked at each other. She pressed her napkin to her eyes. I confronted him. He said you two had an arrangement. That you were comfortable with it. The lie was so audacious I almost laughed. We have no arrangement. I was afraid of that. Evelyn reached across the table. Emma, whatever you need. Whatever you decide to do. I'm on your side. Not his. We talked for 2 hours. She told me things I'd suspected. Daniel's spending, his arrogance, the way he treated support staff at his firm. The son she'd raised with values had become someone she didn't recognize. He thinks money makes him powerful, she said quietly. He doesn't know the difference between having money and being money. I squeezed her hand. I'm going to teach him that difference. Wednesday night, Daniel packed for Miami. I watched from our bedroom doorway as he folded designer shirts, checked his Rolex, hummed something tuneless. You seem happy, I said. Big deal closing. If this goes through, we're set for life. He zipped his suitcase. After this trip, everything changes. I believe you. He kissed me goodbye at 5 a.m. Thursday. I pretended to be half asleep. Love you, he mumbled automatically. I said nothing. By 6 a.m., I was at my office with James Morrison and 2 other attorneys from his firm. You're sure about this? James asked. Once we start, there's no going back. I'm sure. The timing. He lands at 10:30 a.m. Miami time. Give him until 2 p.m. Let him check in. Get comfortable. Then we move. At 2:17 p.m., my phone rang. Daniel. I let it go to voicemail. He called again. Again. Then texted. Credit card declined. Must be a mistake. Can you call the bank? I texted back. In a meeting. Can't talk. At 2:45, he called from a different number. Sienna's, probably. Emma, something's wrong with our accounts. The hotel says my card's been canceled. The bank says the mortgage account is frozen. They won't tell me anything. You need to call them right now. I'm at work, Daniel. I can't just. This is important. I'm standing in a hotel lobby. They're about to throw me out. And I need you to fix this. Fix what exactly? The accounts. Our money. Whatever's happening, our money. I'll let the words hang. Tell me, Daniel, how much of our money is in those accounts? Silence. Because I've been doing some math. Your salary is $340,000. After taxes, that's about $210,000. Our mortgage is $7,500 a month. Cars, $2,200. Property taxes, insurance, utilities, another $4,000. Your wardrobe budget alone is $3,000 a month. I kept my voice pleasant. That leaves about $11,000 a month for everything else. Food, travel, entertainment. What's your point? My point is you've spent $186,000 on hotels in the last 18 months. Where did that money come from, Daniel? The silence stretched so long I thought he'd hung up. Your museum salary is $68,000 a year, I continued. After taxes, maybe $48,000. So again, where did the money come from? The money you've been spending on Sienna? The Cartier bracelet? The presidential suite you're standing in right now? Emma, it came from me. From accounts my father set up before he died. Accounts that have been quietly funding our lifestyle, while you played big shot with her mistress. I heard him breathing, hard and fast. Every joint account we have. My money. The mortgage payments. My money. Your car lease. My money. Even that promotion bonus you were so proud of, they paid it into our joint brokerage account, which is funded 90% by my trust. You're lying. Call Sterling. And how HR. Ask them where they sent your bonus. Account number ending in 7743. Then call James Morrison at Morrison & Park. He'll confirm that I own that account. You just had access to it. You can't do this. I already did. At 2 p.m. Eastern Time, I revoked your access to every account connected to my inheritance. That includes our mortgage account, the household expense account, and every credit card you're carrying. I paused. How much cash do you have on you, Daniel? Emma, please, how much? Maybe $200. Then I suggest you use it to book a flight home. Because the presidential suite costs $3,500 a night, and you can't afford it anymore. I hung up. My hands were shaking. Not from fear. From the pure, crystalline satisfaction of watching 10 years of lies crumble in real time. James looked at me over his reading glasses. The bank freeze. Activated. As of 20 minutes ago. He can't access his salary account either. Not until we verify the source of several suspicious transactions. That could take weeks. Good. My phone exploded. Texts, calls, voicemails. All Daniel. I turned it off. Then I went back to work, restoring a 17th century portrait of a woman who looked remarkably calm despite the chaos surely surrounding her when it was painted. I understood her now. Daniel showed up at my office Friday morning. Security called up first. Miss Chen, your husband is here. He's agitated. Should we send him away? No. Send him up. But stay close. He looked terrible. Same clothes as yesterday, wrinkled and sweat-stained. His hair stood in wild angles. His eyes were bloodshot. Emma. He stumbled forward. Please. I can explain everything. Explain what? The affair? The spending? Or the part where you've been living off my money while treating me like I was lucky to have you? I didn't know. I thought I was taking care of us. You thought wrong. I closed my laptop. You thought a lot of things wrong, Daniel. You thought I was simple because I dressed modestly. You thought I was dependent because I didn't flaunt wealth. You thought I was weak because I let you believe you were in charge. I love you. You love the life I gave you. The house, the cars, the club memberships. You love playing successful banker while spending money you didn't earn. He dropped into a chair. What do you want? You want me to grovel? Fine. I'm sorry. I made a mistake. I'll end it with Sienna. We can fix this. There's nothing to fix. Our marriage is over. You can't just, we've been together for 10 years. And you've been cheating for at least 18 months. Spending my inheritance on another woman. Making me look like a fool. I pulled out the divorce papers James had prepared. Clean, simple, devastating. You get nothing. The house is in a trust my father created. The cars are leased through my company. Your 401k and salary are yours. Everything else reverts to me. That's not fair. Fair. My voice cut through his protest. You spent nearly $400,000 of my money on an affair. You lied to your mother. You humiliated me. And you did it all while thinking you were God's gift to finance. I have rights. Marital assets. Read the prenup, Daniel. The one you signed without reading because your lawyer said it was standard. It specifies that inherited assets remain separate property. You have no claim to my father's money. His face went white. I can't afford. Emma, my apartment costs $8,000 a month. My car payment is $2,100. I have country club dues, my wardrobe. Then I suggest you adjust your lifestyle to match your actual income. You're going to destroy me. No, I'm going to stop funding you. There's a difference. Security knocked. Miss Chen, is everything all right? Mr. Parker was just leaving. Daniel stood slowly. I'll fight this. Get my own lawyers. With what money? The bank freeze on your salary account won't lift until you can explain $92,000 in cash withdrawals. That's going to require documentation you don't have. I met his eyes. And Sienna, the woman you left me for? She got served with papers this morning. Turns out that Cartier bracelet was purchased with funds that can be traced to my accounts. I'm suing for recovery of assets. She'll never pay. Then she'll face criminal charges. Receiving stolen property. Your choice is to cooperate or join her. He looked at me like he'd never seen me before. Maybe he hadn't. Who are you? He whispered. I'm Chinwei's daughter. I'm a woman who knows the difference between being kind and being weak. And I'm someone who just learned a very valuable lesson about trust. Security escorted him out. 3 months later, I sat in my new office, smaller than before, in a different building, with morning light that made the art glow. I'd left the museum, started my own restoration firm, funded it myself, no hiding this time. Evelyn came for lunch once a week. We'd gotten closer through all this. She'd testified in the divorce about Daniel spending his lies. Said it was the hardest and most necessary thing she'd ever done. He's living with a roommate in Queens, she told me over salad. Working at a smaller firm. They pay him half what Sterling did. How is he? Humbled. Maybe that's what he needed. She paused. I'm proud of you, Emma. For being strong. For protecting yourself. I should have done it sooner. You did it when you were ready. The divorce finalized on a Tuesday. I signed papers in James's office, then walked to the park where my father used to take me as a child. I'd spent 10 years hiding, being small, pretending I needed less than I had. No more. The money wasn't what mattered. It never had been. What mattered was knowing my worth, setting boundaries, refusing to be diminished by someone else's ego. Daniel had taught me that lesson the hard way. My phone buzzed. A text from Maya, my former assistant who'd joined my new firm. Client wants to commission a restoration. Big project. Can you meet tomorrow? I smiled. Typed back, absolutely. As I walked home through Central Park, past couples and families and people living their messy, complicated lives, I thought about my father. What he'd say if he could see me now. Probably. Took you long enough. But also, I'm proud of you, Emma. For being smart. For being strong. For knowing when to hide your cards and when to show your hand. I played the long game with Daniel. Let him think he was in control while I held all the power. And when the moment came, I didn't just take back what was mine. I took back myself. The woman who'd been hiding behind thrift store scars and modest apartments. The woman who'd let her husband think he was the breadwinner while she quietly funded his delusions. That woman was gone. In her place stood someone new. Someone who knew her worth and wouldn't settle for less. I unlocked the door to my brownstone. Bought outright, no mortgage, just mine, and kicked off my shoes. My father's portrait hung in the entryway. I touched the frame gently. I get it now, Dad. Why you built all those protections. Why you taught me to value security over flash. He'd known something I'd had to learn. Money isn't power. Knowledge is power. Knowing when to show your strength and when to hide it. That's what separates survivors from victims. Daniel had gambled that I was weak. He'd bet everything on that assumption. And when I finally showed my hand, he lost it all. Not because I was cruel. Because I was smart. Patient. Prepared. The quiet woman in the corner wasn't helpless. She was just waiting for the right moment to speak. And when she did, the whole world learned to listen.